some people say you don't know what you have until it's gone. But in reality, for a lot of people, they knew what they had, but they never thought they'd lose it. And because of that, they become comfortable. And that starts to create a dynamic where people take advantage, where people are not doing their part anymore and become lackadaisical in a relationship. And so what a lot of women have experienced, people in general, but we're focusing on the women right now, is this dynamic where the man starts to care when she stops. When she starts to pull away, that's when he wants to step up. And to some extent, that might be like, well, at least he's finally stepping up. But on the other side, it's like, well, why does it take that? Why must we get to that point? And unfortunately, for a lot of women, when she gets to that point, she's become very emotionally checked out. So now, even if he tries, she may not have the energy to keep trying with him. But let me break down for you why it even happens, all right? Because there are some things I'm sure you already know, but there are a couple things that a lot of women are not considering. And it's important that you hear this. And be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. Like the video. Anyways, number one is that he actually always cared, but he wasn't aware of the issue. Now, some of y'all may have rolled your eyes at that one, but hear me out. As a coach, I cannot tell you how many times I have sat down with couples, both married and regular boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, where the man was truly, genuinely oblivious to the issues going on. All right? Now, I know a lot of women will say, well, how can that be, especially when in most cases the woman is saying something about it? Yes, she's saying something, but she may not be properly explaining or conveying how important to her this is. And when we say important to the point that by not having this, it could lead to her wanting to step away or be done with the relationship. All right? Now, why does that happen? Well, sometimes we have to realize that the way men and women communicate is not always the same. And when a man talks and what the woman hears is not always in alignment. And when the woman talks and what the man interpreted is not always in alignment. And so we have a bad habit as human beings of not always trying to tap into how that person receives our message, we rather expect that they would grasp our way of communicating it. Okay? And so for a lot of women, especially when you've been with this guy for a while, it's like, how does he not know this? How does he not understand me at this point? But him being a man and him possibly lacking certain skills of comprehension may lead him to not fully grasp what it is you're saying. So I'm going to give an example. I've given this example before in a previous video, but I remember one time that I had a married couple and the wife said, he doesn't spend enough time with me. The only time he touches me is when he wants to have sex. And it's like, I don't feel wanted and valued and things like that. He won't even sit down and watch TV with me, okay? So I discussed this with the man and I said, listen, she's saying, I explained to her everything she said. She said, and he said, okay, cool, I got it, I'm gonna work on it. A week later, I asked him, okay, what's the progress, what happened? He said, well, I did what you said I need to do. I asked her, she said, oh, it's still nothing's changed. Okay, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. I said, okay, what happened? She said, yeah, okay. He said, well, I sat and watched TV with her. I said, so I'm talking to her now. I'm like, well, yeah, he sat and watched TV with me, but he was on this end of the couch and I was on that end of the couch. So essentially, what the man heard in her request was, watch TV with me. What the woman was trying to communicate was, show me affection. Show me attention. Actually want to be next to me. Okay? And to her, that should have been plain and clear. But to the man, it was not. So when I say he was not aware, what happens is sometimes you have these lingering issues. And that was just one example. But you have these issues that the man doesn't grasp how important this is. Another reason why that can happen real quick is because so many people grow up seeing dysfunctional relationships to where they start to normalize problematic behavior. So if, for example, arguing is something that someone grew up seeing, and let's just say their parents stayed married for 40 years, but arguing all the time. To them, now that we argue in our relationship, it's not a big deal. That's what people do. My parents stayed together for 40 years. They're not going to grasp, but wait a minute, this issue may lead to the end of our relationship. So he doesn't understand that this is affecting you to the point that you're going to start to give up and not care anymore. And so when you do give up, he's like, I don't understand. What's going on? And to you, it's like, are you really that stupid? Technically, yes. and I say, I just mean yes in the sense that he is oblivious. He did not get it. He did not grasp it. So let's not assume, all right, that when the man is not showing care or when he finally wakes up because you stopped, it's a matter of, well, he just doesn't care about you and now he's just trying to act right just to get you back, which we'll discuss that because it does happen. But we do have to consider the fact that sometimes he just did not understand what the problem was. So what's the fix to this real quick before I move on to the next point? So make sure that you are communicating your issues and your concerns very clearly, all right? And I think it's important as a woman that you get as specific as possible when you're expressing what you see as an issue and what you want to see change for things to be corrected, all right? Now, again, some of you may have already done that, great, but I just want to make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's, all right? Before we jump to any conclusions about how this man really felt about you. So make sure you express things clearly to him. Make sure you express things to him at a time that you are calm. So I'm a firm believer in writing things out, writing letters. I think that's the best way to communicate big issues because verbal conversations can go left really fast. People get defensive. People lose track. They get distracted. There's so much that can go wrong with a verbal conversation. I'm not saying it's impossible to reach resolution that way. I just believe that it is much more effective to write it down, allow that person to read it, process it, and then we come back to the table and discuss it, okay? I think that will make it flow a lot better and allow that person to retain and understand more what you're trying to say to them. So let's make sure we take a healthy approach to communication and we express everything. And then if you can say I've done that and this man still showed that he didn't care until I stopped, okay, now we got some other issues to explore. So one of those other issues, number 2 on this list, is the reason why he stopped caring or he started caring when you stopped is because he misses the attention and validation. Now, let me quickly say this. These issues I'm laying out for you of why this happens, it can occur in the dating stage and it can occur clearly in a relationship, even in a marriage, all right? So I just want to make that clear real quick. But yes, what I have seen with a lot of people is that sometimes the reaction to now actually caring and wanting to make an effort is because they missed how much you were caring before. They missed how much that made them feel good. And they want that security of knowing you still care. And this is going to sound crazy, but even in situations where they really don't plan on being better for you, they really don't plan on being consistent and pouring back into you. They just want to secure the attention and validation. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Don't take offense, okay? But I'm going to give you an example from a woman's side of how this can happen with women as well, just so that you can maybe see it more clearly. So one of the things that I have come across many times is a dynamic where, let's say a couple is married, and while they're married, the man is trying to have sexual relations with his wife, and she is constantly turning him down. I got a headache, the kids, there's every excuse in the book. Bottom line, she really don't like laying down with the man, but she just comes up with reasons and excuses. So she rejects him, right? And then it gets to a point where he stops caring. He stops even trying to have relations with her. And what happens now is, because he's no longer trying, and she now no longer feels desired, even though she didn't want to lay down with him, but she still liked feeling like he wanted to lay down with her. She now finds herself struggling with, she may question herself, is she still looking good, whatever. So now she needs to validate herself. So what does she start to do? She starts to initiate relations with him. All right? Just to kind of make sure it's almost like I still got it. All right? Make sure, okay, he still wants me. And once she gets the validation, guess what she does? Goes back to rejecting him. Goes back to the same thing. And they repeat this cycle over and over again. So I'm giving this example because, again, just to show you, yes, it happens on both sides. But to get back to the man doing it, it's the same thing. It just may be in a different way. It may not be related to, again, the rejection of sexual relations, but people sometimes feed off of your attention and desire for them. And once you take that away, now they react. But let me make something very clear as well before we move forward. Their reaction is not healthy. Meaning, because think about the example I gave you with the woman. She still went back to rejecting him. If this man reacts, but still goes back to nonsense, then this isn't worth it. And I'm saying this isn't worth it because what I want to convey right now is some people use the whole stop caring as a tactic. Some women are told that, oh, okay, pull back from him and stop caring so he can start caring about you. That's not healthy because you're not resolving the real issue or addressing the real issue. All you're getting him to do is react in the moment. This isn't sustainable. So it's like, what are you going to do? Every time he now falls off, you're going to pull back and go through this whole game plan. That's exhausting and it's not worth it. So please understand, do not use this as a tactic. I'm explaining what happens. Yes, by pulling back, you can get that reaction. So I'm not disputing that a woman stopping her care and stopping her attention can get a man to draw, back into her. But it's just not in your best interest. So why even bother? All right, so let's keep this moving. Another reason why he starts caring when you stop caring is because he now realizes the bare minimum is not working. And so essentially, there are some of you who are in or have been in, or God forbid will be in, a relationship with a man who's not really serious about you. And when a man's not really serious about you, he's trying to get more for less. He's trying to give as little effort as possible. And unfortunately, a lot of women have tolerated this. A lot of women have allowed themselves to give, and not receive. And so he will keep that going for as long as possible. And now once you start to pull back or stop caring, he starts to realize, oh, okay, wait a minute. Maybe I got to take her out a little bit more. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I got to give her a few more compliments. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I should watch the kids a little bit more for a few days. You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing out different things. But the point is, he now realizes, okay, this minimal effort I'm giving is not enough to keep her here, to string this along longer. Okay, that's what it's really about. So now, and this is where you see, okay, so I'll up the ante. I'll do more right now to satisfy her and to get her back to that place of tolerating my mediocrity. All right. And this is important to understand in situations where you got to be honest with yourself. Were you accepting his, excuse my language, half-assed effort? Were you accepting him to give the minimum while you were so busy trying to give the maximum? Were you so blinded in you trying to be the giver and the nurturer? And let me say something about this whole nurturing thing, all right? This is one of those that hit my spirit moments, so we got to talk about it, all right? I see a lot of women, or I've heard a lot of women, use the whole we're natural nurturers to excuse or explain, and I'm going to use the word scapegoat, when they get caught up in situations where they give, and essentially get used and drained and taken advantage of. And I need you to stop doing that. And what I mean by stop doing that, yes, stop being used and taken advantage of, but stop scapegoating being a nurturer as the reason. You didn't find yourself in this situation because you're a nurturer. You found yourself in this situation because you were afraid to accept the reality that this man wasn't for you. You found yourself in this situation because you were afraid to be alone. You found yourself in this situation because you wanted to believe he could be better. You found yourself in this situation because you ignored your intuition. I don't say this to you to judge you or make you feel bad. I say it to you to empower you so you don't make the same mistake. But if you simply make this about you being a nurturer, you won't understand the need to correct it. Because why would I want to correct that good side of me, right? If I make it about something that's so positive as being a nurturer, then I don't understand how I need to make an adjustment. But that wasn't the real reason. You can be a nurturer and keep your eyes open. You can be a nurturer and still draw a line that says, this is unacceptable. You can be a nurturer and still demand respect and him pouring back into you. Do not allow that side of you to be the reason why you think things are going wrong and you ending up in these situations and getting used by people. As well as don't do what some others will do, is because you think it was because you were a nurturer. Well, I'm going to stop nurturing now. That's the key. I'm going to stop being feminine. I'm going to stop being loving. I'm going to stop being nurturing because that's what got me in trouble. No, that's not what got you in trouble. Your selection process is what got you in trouble. And all those other things I mentioned. Now, again, I love you. I say this with absolute love and care and to help you do better. But I had to share that with you because I see it happen far too often. But to get back to the point and to wrap it up, yes, when he sees that that bare minimum is no longer enough, he may step it up for a little while. But again, you really have to be honest with yourself about, is he even capable of being the man that you need? And if he's only doing this for the moment, there is no point in even trying to entertain his current effort. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. So let me start off by clearing any misconception or confusion here. I don't have any kids, okay? So when you read the title, some of y'all may say, well, wait a minute, Stephan got a daughter? No.